Hello, my name is Allyson Wilson, and in fall 2019, I took Facilitating Communication Education, which is a seminar course at George Mason University. This course accompanies an undergraduate teaching assistant experience, and I use the word experience on purpose. I assisted Professor Susan Tomasovic in her Business and Professional Communication course, and I'm going to talk to you today about the ways in which this course is an educational experience rather than just an environment where classroom learning occurs. In my Facilitating Communication Education course, I read an article by Uger, Constantinescu, and Stevens called Self-Awareness and Personal Growth, Theory and Application of Bloom's Taxonomy. This article beautifully describes the mindful learning that occurred within the Business and Professional Communication course. The first idea I will talk about is personalized course content. In their article, Uger, Constantinescu, and Stevens talk about how well-being and personal growth are highly personal aspirations. While the process of attaining these outcomes can be similar from student to student, the values and characteristics of each student are different. So a curriculum that allows for personal course content gives students the opportunity to assign personal value to their learning. I saw this clearly in the Business and Professional Communication course. Many of the students were seniors. They were preparing for graduation and ultimately preparing for their professional lives. That being the case, most students were highly invested in the resume and cover letter assignment. Students were asked to pick a company for which they would like to work, and they were shown the ways in which to develop their personal marketing devices geared towards that company. Our motivated students sought out opportunities with companies such as National Geographic, Politico, and Nike. Prior to completion of the assignment, students were asked to think about whether or not they needed to clean up their social media, the ways to research their company, how to look for specific types of information that could help them understand their company's culture, and the ways to contact their potential employers and who specifically they should contact within the organization. While thinking about what their company might be looking for in an employee, a student is simultaneously required to think about who they are and express their personally selected values and characteristics and put those into the assignment. What I'm going to talk about next is knowledge and application. With the resume and cover letter assignment, the student must understand the purpose of the assignment, gain knowledge about a company for which they are passionate, and they need to recall relevant past work and relate a job posting to his or her own experiences. In this way, I could observe the student gaining experiential knowledge and assignment perspective. The student must know who they are, they must know what their skills are, and they must know what the job they are seeking entails. In a survey, one student conveyed that the assignment helped her learn about the selection process for her potential employer. And all students who completed the survey said classroom activities and discussion helped with a better understanding of how to create a resume and cover letter, which was important to each of them at the time since most of them were on the cusp of graduation. The student must apply his or her personal knowledge using the prescribed assignment procedure to create a professional resume and cover letter. And when I say professional, I mean professional both in the sense of aesthetics and content. Uger, Constantinescu, and Stevens point out that when the student applies his or her knowledge, a heightened self-awareness of potentialities is realized, and the student may also be able to identify barriers to achieving their goals. Next, I will discuss the analysis, synthesis, and the evaluation process related to this assignment. Uger, Constantinescu, and Stevens wrote that a student engages in analysis when he or she examines why some choices were made and not others, and how one might express those choices in consistent and meaningful ways. After analyzing their skills and breaking down their work experiences into basic, relatable elements, students need to understand what their motivations are for choosing that job and the qualifications and experiences to which they will highlight for it. For example, the student I mentioned earlier said that the knowledge she gained from the assignment helped her with decisions of what to mention and what not to mention in her cover letter and then later in her interviews. Synthesis occurs when students draw upon skills and behaviors they already perform. The authors wrote regarding synthesis that the students are autonomous and they're able to identify and strive for personalized goals which best represent their unique experiences. In this way, the student is able to present an authentic and meaningful version of themselves. Lastly, there's the obvious ways that evaluation occurs. There's the evaluation of the student's qualifications for the job. There's the evaluation of the assignment as a finished product. But I wanted to mention and draw attention to the fact that I observed these noteworthy self-evaluations occurring in the classroom, reflections, if you will. In some students, as they progressed through the assignment, the process forced students to reconcile whether they had gained the proper qualifications and experiences up until this point in their lives for their selected job. Their finished product communicated that, yes, you are ready to go for this job, or no, you have more work to do, or perhaps you need to look for a different job because this one just isn't what you thought it was. While the latter may be frustrating for the student, it is this kind of cycle that helps the student realize their own potential and eventually realize their own successes. And it's a journey which is necessary for well-being. I just talked to you about the ideas of Uger, Constantinescu, and Stevens's article and the ways they apply to the Business and Professional Communication course. I observed students engaged with the course content which was meaningful to them, and I saw Bloom's taxonomy at work, however, through a lens of student self-awareness and personal growth. This view made the material in the course personally meaningful to each and every student, me included. I experienced the course twice, once as a student and once as a TA. Each time I observed students with different interests, experiences, and goals, and each time the classroom was a rich environment with its own personality. It was personally relevant to all who were participating in it. I was invited to present this content at the annual meeting of the Virginia Association of Communication, Arts, and Sciences on March 27th in Fairfax, Virginia. However, due to the health concerns surrounding the COVID-19 outbreak and the disruptions to daily life this pandemic has caused, the conference was canceled altogether. Authors of papers and presenters were invited to submit their materials to be included in an archive of work of the VACAS 2020 conference. I am proud to belong to a community that can still connect, share, and support one another in learning through technology while social distancing. If you're interested in learning more about my experience as an undergraduate teaching assistant, or you're interested in becoming an undergraduate teaching assistant at George Mason University, feel free to drop me a line. I would be delighted to discuss the opportunity with you.